SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fatman.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man, E. E, how are you doing today?
I am good. I am on the road this weekend with the podcast, taking it out across America, about to enter over into Nevada, but of course, want to take a little bit of time for you and I to do our thing, Bob.
Absolutely. What are you doing?
I am actually going to be spending the fall in an area called the North Shore, north of Chicago, a little town up there. In fact, if you remember the 4th of July shooting from earlier this year, that's the exact town I'm going to, Highland Park.
Sounds like a great time.
I have a tendency to hit all the hot spots. I was in New York on 9/11. I was in London for what they call over there the 7/7 bombings, and I guess I'm just getting to Highland Park a little bit late, a little bit behind on this one, but you slow down when you get older, Bob. It's true.
Well, I would appreciate if you never come anywhere near where I live because I don't want anything bad happening.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Bob, because that's an excellent transition. Today on the show, you've already heard us do one of our coaches interviews. We plan on doing more with coaches and players and SimWorld folks as we go on here, but going to kick one off with a little get to know you with Big Bob. Bob going to be our first subject. That's right. People want to know. People ask me all the time, tell me about this Big Bob guy. So I think it's time they got the real story. So I'm going to take the reins here. You get in the interview chair, Bob. And first, tell the folks just the basics. Let's get the Big Bob backstory. Where are you from? You got brothers and sisters? Where are you at now? Is it near where you're from? Give us just a minute or two of your basic story.
So I was born in Pennsylvania. I was there until...
Which part? Big state. I got to get some clarification.
Central PA. Most people don't really know. There's Lewistown. Pretty much around Penn State, like probably 45 minutes to an hour from Penn State. Grew up...
College.
I want to say, I don't want to say I really grew up there. I was there until I was in second grade. Then I moved to Florida until my junior year of high school. My sophomore year of high school. I was in Central Florida. I guess Central was just
Central was your thing.
So it's like Cape Canaveral, Cocoa, Melbourne area, Titusville. Came back my junior year. I actually sat down the other day, Ian, because with a lot of the jobs that I get, I have to do FBI background checks, so they want all of your addresses or all of where you lived. And I sat down and could remember 23 different houses that I've lived in since that I could remember, at least.
All right. Well, that's almost like the coaching life, moving every year or two to take a new job someplace. So, well, before we wrap up on kind of your backstory here, are there brothers, sisters? You got any, or was one Bob enough in your family?
Probably was enough, but no. I have a brother, an older sister, and a younger sister. I actually didn't grow up with them. That's a more serious story for another time. So it was just me and my mom. I wish it was me and my siblings, but unfortunately, it was just me and my mom. But I say unfortunately, not. That sounded bad. I think we all understand. No, I think we get it. And to pull it into a little bit more, your generation, your time to do it. Is there a Mrs. Big Bob out there as well? Yeah, so I do have a wife. We got married 3 years ago. It was October 21st, 2018.
Coming up on anniversary.
We're coming up on 4. So we met online, not like on a dating. We had both joined a general forum online. It was actually called General Forum at the time. That was because when you think about it, if people just want to, let's just General Forum, and it was the first thing that would pop up. It's kind of dead now. They changed their name to Pop Malt. Not really sure what that's all about. But anyways, we met on there. She was in Virginia. I was in Pennsylvania at the time. She moved to Pennsylvania to be with her boyfriend. So she moved to Pennsylvania to be with her boyfriend. Things, unfortunately and fortunately, didn't work out with him. So we ended up hanging out a little bit. So we've been friends for a long time, probably since about 2008 I believe. We hung out for a little bit, dated for 2 years before getting married, and here we are in West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia now.
Yeah.
All right, the Mountaineer State.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I know West Virginia pretty well myself, having grown up right on the border of that state. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So I'm going to cut that off right now. Bob, we're here in SimWorld. I think everybody listening by default is a sports fan. Everybody involved is a sports fan. What did you play as a kid, if anything? And it can be organized or just more casual kind of thing. But what kind of sports did you play growing up?
So I did not play organized sports until my sophomore year of high school when I came back to Pennsylvania. But I had always played basketball, football, just with friends and everything like that. Kickball, hell yeah. But no, I didn't play organized sports till my sophomore year of high school. I played football. The main reason for that was because when I was in Florida, the schools that I went to didn't have teams, so you had to pay to play for the local teams, and paying to play wasn't something that we could do whenever I was growing up.
That sounds insane. I think of Florida as like Texas, like football's a religion there. I can't believe that. Wow.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was just where we were or what, or maybe I just wasn't educated enough. Yeah, when I got to my freshman year of high school, I could have played, and I actually went to a tryout or two, but I had me and the coach did not see eye to eye because he was one of my teachers.
Yeah, no. That kind of drama definitely happens at that level. Heck, it actually happens at the pro level too, I suppose. So,
yeah,
which of your sports did you think you were best at? Were you better at basketball or football, in your own opinion?
I was definitely better at football. I wish I would have put a little bit more into it, just because of how big I was or am. I've always been big.
Well, people know you're Big Bob, but how tall is Big Bob officially?
So, and I'll just give it. Right now I'm 6'3", 390. Obviously, I am one of those people. I don't look that big. I don't look 390. Mm-hmm. I am big, but I don't look 390.
High school, you carry it. That's right.
Yeah, high school. My sophomore year, I was 340, and I dropped down. By the end of the season, I was down to 280. So football workouts really did a number on the fat.
Oh, they'll do that.
Yeah. But every season, like my junior year, I was 300. My senior year, I was 320. But I was definitely better. I was definitely better at football. I played defensive tackle, and I should have played the offensive line, but I was not extremely motivated to do anything extra if I wasn't being told to do it.
Got it.
Now I take full blame now, even though I was a kid, but I also still partially put blame on my coaches, because if you're asking a kid to do something versus telling them to do something, you should have told me to play offensive line. Tell me to do it. But yeah, play defensive tackle. I gave 150% on game day. I cannot say the same during practice and workouts.
25% Allen Iverson rate during practice.
Yeah, practice? We talking about practice?
Well, hey, that was another question I wanted to ask you, and AI is a potential candidate. So keeping it in your kid time, who was there a favorite player, a couple favorite players, can be any sport, that you really kind of latched onto as a kid as a sports hero?
I don't know if I think I was one of those weird kids where I did have a lot of favorite players that I really liked, but I never had that one that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to meet them. They're who I want to be when I grow up. But there were the players that I'm always going to remember because they just stuck out. I'm always going to be a Randy Moss fan. Randy Moss,
West Virginia connection too.
Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, Brett Favre.
Yeah. Vikings. I know you're a Vikings fan. It's coming out loud and clear there.
And Brett Favre was just one of those players. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on now, which I'm not really. I separate the field.
Yeah, leave that to the side.
Yeah, I separate the field from the off the field stuff typically. So, if I was building a team, I don't think, again, not saying he's the greatest quarterback ever, but if I was building a team, Favre would be the quarterback that I want on that team. Because whether he was throwing 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions, he was the same person. He didn't let those 5 interceptions that he probably just threw affect how he was playing his game, and I really appreciated that. And the Iron Man situation, like I don't think we'll ever see another quarterback player period play through the injuries the way he did. I don't know if anybody will be allowed to.
Good point. When they're wearing their what are those new helmets called with the puffy stuff all over?
What are they called? I can't.
they
Gladiator? Are they Gladiator? No, I can't remember.
I think that might be correct. Anyway, expect to see those being worn at every practice and game in about 10 years, maybe even less. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Let's move things over to the SimWorld side. How about that?
Yeah.
What kind of brought you into SimWorld? And, a follow-up question that's going to be is, you have a vision for what this could be or could look like? I mean, I guess they're kind of connected, right? Basically, it's like, what interests you about this whole SimWorld thing?
So I have been a part of SimWorld in some way. You better make sure someone's not breaking in. You got a good you got a good security alarm there. I have been a part of SimWorld in some way for years. I knew Roniel back when it was just a roster project. And there still is a roster project. Back whenever we were just on a website called Operation Sports, which is still around. Just doing there was the NBA side of things, which I did a little bit with, but there was also a wrestling side of SimWorld back in the day, which I still fully expect that to be a thing here within the next couple of years too with us. But I've known Roniel for a while, and he reached out to me whenever things were starting to kick off a couple years ago with this, that whenever it was first starting, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And I have a vision of what I always thought it could be. And that's why I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because I feel like this can be I know people talk about the metaverse and everything. And I really think that we can have like a sports metaverse, for lack of a better term, with this. Like right now we're doing high school sports. Great. But I fully expect that we're going to be pro, college, and whatever sports games are out. I mean, right now there are none. But with college football coming back next year, I fully expect us to be running with college sports with SimWorld. We're going to do NFL, wrestling. I wouldn't be surprised if we were doing NASCAR.
Yeah. I love the idea of this growing to be a whole sort of, inclusive ecosystem, to use a horrible word.
Yeah.
But, high school right now, even just in basketball, just taking it all the levels that goes to. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
That all makes sense, Bob. Well, and first of all, apologies for my dog a second ago. As mentioned, I'm on the road this week, and she is traveling with me. I think something like a food cart or something just rattled down the hallway.
Like squirrel!
Caught her attention. Yeah, along those lines. She's actually, I know you're a cat person too, Bob. She's actually a kitten at heart, but she has a ferocious bark. So, well, I think this has been great, kind of getting to know Big Bob and the Big Bob backstory a little bit here this weekend. I want to close this out, and here's what I'm going to do, Bob. And, if we like this, maybe we'll just incorporate it and hit all of our interviewees with it. But let's just do a little top 3. I'm going to throw some questions at you, and I'm just looking for your top 3, your favorite 3. All right? Okay. So starting with, let's go current sports figures. You mentioned you didn't really have any big heroes. You were a Moss and Culpepper fan growing up, but who right now your top 3 sort of most admired favorite figures from the world of sports?
Top 3 right now. So I would definitely have to say Justin Jefferson. I don't typically feel like I get attached to a younger player too much because I don't know. There's something about him that, one, I think he's going to be the best receiver in football by the end of the season. I think
he's a monster.
Yeah, I think the addition of Kevin O'Connell and running the same offense that the Rams ran last year, because they're clearly not running the same offense this year with the way that they played on Thursday night.
Agreed.
Well, I'll see, Thursday night, 2 Thursdays ago. But
yeah. Season opener.
Yeah, but I fully expect if you put Justin Jefferson in that Cooper Kupp role, I think Justin Jefferson is going to be the first receiver to break 2,000 yards, and I don't think it's going to be because of that extra game that we're playing in now. I don't think it's going to be because we added that 17th game. I think he could hit that 2,000-yard mark week 16.
Okay.
2 others. Oh man, the tough thing for me, I have to go with Derrick Henry, because I am a big, as much as it's a little weird for me to say that Justin Jefferson is one of my favorites, when I am 100% on I need to see running the ball more. I know people are like, they're running the ball, it's archaic and blah blah blah. I forget what game it was last season or last week. It was an extremely low-scoring game. It actually might have been college football, where people were like, "Oh, these 2 teams are setting football back 20 years." It's like, I love running the ball. You give me Derrick Henry, and I'm running that ball 40 times a game. I don't know if anybody has time, go look at his high school stats. That is something to be. It was impressive. His high school stats. I think he was running the ball like 400 times in high school. 2,000 yards. His stats in high school were mind blowing, and I hope he can stay healthy, because he's the last of a dying breed.
No, he is. He's a throwback to the kind of Earl Campbell, Eric Dickerson, physical big runner, 1980s kind of guy. So I appreciate that you appreciate that, Bob, but I think you're about to throw your third one out there. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I think it's hard because defense is not what it used to be. So I was really I wanted to throw a linebacker in there, but I can't. Gone are the days of I think, Patrick Willis and Ray Lewis and the Lawrence Taylors of the world. I just the way that defenses are played now, because of the way that the rules kind of favor the offense, and I get why the NFL did that. They high scoring games are more like the Buffalo Kansas City playoff game. Like, people want to see that versus I don't know, a Pittsburgh over Dolphins 3-0 in a monsoon. But I would say for number 3, I would have to go with, I think. Man, it's difficult. Tom Brady. I'm going to go with Tom Brady, just because I kind of put him in that same, he's been doing it forever. The greatest quarterback of all time, I'm not going to say arguably, because I don't think it's even close. When you're talking about a pure quarterback, I don't think there is a better pure quarterback than Tom Brady. He just doesn't take as many risks as Favre did, which is, again, one of the reasons I liked Favre. He took the risks. You were going to live and die by Favre, and boy, did teams die by Favre. Hey, why didn't he just run the ball in 2009? Just run the ball, tuck and run.
Yeah, no, Favre was a danger to beat you in every game, and also basically beat himself.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a high delta is what they call that.
So yeah,
variable.
Go Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, Tom Brady.
All right. Also want to find about your favorite sports teams, and we know one of them is the Vikings. We're just going to get that out of the way. No further comment on that. Give me 2 more, though. 2 favorite sports teams. Can be college, too, or anything. I mean, heck, could be a local Little League team, I suppose.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to apologize. I think I'm so set on football right now because it is the start of football season. I have ignored. I got to throw Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has to. He's again, and that's going to go into one of my favorite teams, 76ers. But he is just, him and Jokic are just two. I think again of the center position. Like, I think. I'm not going to call Embiid a pure, like a true, he's not a Shaq, but I just think that he is a complete he's a complete center, as complete of a center as you can be as a pure center. It's contradicting, but yeah, Embiid, he has to go into that list. But favorite teams, Vikings, obviously, like you said. I'll give you 3 different ones since I've talked so much football. 76ers, Penn State, and I'll give them all. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Detroit Red Wings when it comes to sports. And we'll go. I used to be a big NASCAR fan. Shout out to Tony Stewart. He's retired, but got to give it to Smoke.
hitting all the bases except for baseball, I think.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
But,
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, my teams. Whenever it comes to pro teams, I will say I'm a little. I've had the same favorite teams since I can remember. I grew up around Steelers fans, Cowboys fans, Notre Dame fans. Unfortunately, I grew up around a lot of annoying fans of those teams. Where when I was younger, I just made it a point that I'm not going to root for them, and I'm probably going to root against the teams that are doing the best against them. So that's where the Red Wings come into play, and that's where like the Vikings come into play.
Yeah.
So
I completely understand, Bob. I will get into more detail on this when we do an Eric get to know you sometime. But I grew up in the state of Ohio, and on my 3 favorite team lists, the third team is going to be whoever plays Ohio State that weekend. I completely hate them. But hey, let's switch it out of sports and let's wrap this up. Actually, let's move it over to entertainment. Get a little bit of color on Bob.
all right.
Throw me your 3 favorite musical artists, bands, individuals, whatever. Can be from any genre. Pick 3 and throw them out there for me. Your favorites.
Yeah, so my favorite, I will always say, no matter what, my favorite of all time is Slipknot. They were really the band that really got me into music, period. Like, obviously, I always listened to music, but they were the ones that really got me into music. I'll go with, it's Eminem. I mean, if I didn't say him, then I would just be kidding myself. My playlist is pretty much every controversial song that he's ever had. Songs that
ridiculously talented.
I mean, and he just, I feel like, yeah, he had a bad record, came out with a bad record, people trashed it, and he was like, yeah, you know what, I'm not done. And just, I feel like he dropped, I've been a fan of, most of his records are records that I can throw on and just listen to every single song. Obviously, that's over-exaggerating every single song, but I could say probably 90 to 95% of his record, or of the songs on a particular record, I can just sit there and listen to it, other than Revival. Again, I'm not going to kid myself. I do have like 2 songs on Revival that I liked, but just not a fan. Anyways, number 3, I am going to go with a more current one. I don't want to say a newer band because they've been around for a while, but there's a band called Falling in Reverse. They are kind of a mix of... They're a rock band, but they mix every single kind of music in. The main singer, his name's Ronnie Radke. Love him. He adds rap into his... I'm a big fan of rap rock. I enjoy that mix, and it's what he does, and I think it's what he does best. So anybody out there, definitely give Falling in Reverse. I'd say Voices in My Head is a newer song from them. Definitely check that out. But just, I would say, and artistically, if you ever watch their music videos, it's something I would definitely recommend. They definitely put on a good music video show.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. You got a little something to go look up on YouTube or Spotify after this too.
Yeah, but
got some big recommendations. Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna give like a real quick 10 just so everybody else can, because when it comes to music, I love it. Hobson, Tech Nine, Bring Me the Horizon, Brother Lynch Hung. I'm not sure why Ron Yell got so hung up on me like in Brother Lynch Hung in Discord the other day, but hey,
you just didn't see that coming.
I guess he didn't. Chris Calico, everybody go check out Chris Calico again, and I'm going to throw Hobson in there again just in case anybody missed that 10 seconds ago. We'll move along to the next question.
All right. Well, this is actually the last question I have for you, Bob, and I've learned a few things today, and I probably know you better, certainly know you better than most of our audience, so it's been fun for me too, but close this out, give you a final question, and then we just close the show.
Yeah.
3 favorite movies, top of your head, all time. 3 favorite movies.
So I will say I've always been a big comedy fan, and it's going to be pretty obvious. Tommy Boy, Black Sheep,
Absolute classic.
yep,
But Black Sheep, not as good as Tommy Boy, but also a classic.
and Step Brothers. Those are
Okay.
there was a
Totally with
time, yeah, no, there was a time when Step Brothers first came out when I got it on DVD. I am not over exaggerating to say that I watched it twice a day.
It's almost infinitely rewatchable. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is the ongoing adventures of Dale and Brennan, and a fantastic turn from Adam Scott as Dale's older brother. I thought, or
Well-
Brennan's older brother, excuse me. I thought was fantastic. There's actually a lot of really good little parts and actors in that whole thing.
Yeah,
I am a huge lover of Step Brothers, so I appreciate it that you are too. I like a film that has a conceit that basically it's 2 10-year-olds like joining a melded family, but actually they're 40.
yeah,
And they
absolutely.
can curse and do things. so
No, so there you go.
I appreciate that. I think that's a fantastic note to end this on our discovery of Bob. Yeah, I think that's our show for this week, folks. But Bob, thank you so much. It has been, like I said, it's been entertaining for me. So hopefully it entertained everybody else as well. And folks, as you know, of course, we'll be back next weekend too. Brand new show, brand new topics. But for all of us here at SimWorld, thanks for listening to the Around the Table cast. And Bob, I thank you as always, and look forward to doing this again and having you all listen to us again next week.
Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your weekend.